I stand frozen in the corner of Luna's engagement party, watching the scene unfold like I'm peering through someone else's eyes. The Napa Valley Vineyard estate glows golden in the late afternoon sun, casting warm light across faces that have known me my entire life. Crystal glasses filled with champagne catch the light, transforming ordinary moments into something that almost looks magical if you don't look too closely. Daniel's fingers find mine, squeezing gently as my father taps his silver spoon against his glass. The delicate chime silences the room immediately. Next to me, Daniel shifts his weight, his shoulder pressing reassuringly against mine. He knows what these family gatherings cost me. Friends, colleagues, loved ones. My father begins, his voice carrying that particular timbre that commands attention in boardrooms and family dinners alike. Eleanor and I couldn't be prouder to celebrate Luna's engagement to James. Luna beams from her place beside James, her eyes shining with expectation. At 29, my little sister still possesses that quality of breathless anticipation I lost somewhere in my 30s. The room shifts forward slightly, business associates and family friends leaning in. My mother stands beside my father, her diamond earrings catching the light each time she turns her head, to smile adoringly at Luna. But we have another announcement to make tonight, Father continues, his voice warming with pride. As a wedding gift to our daughter, Eleanor and I are giving Luna 15% ownership in White Family Trucking. The air leaves my lungs in a silent rush. Beside me, Daniel's grip tightens painfully. Mother steps forward, her perfectly manicured hand resting on Father's arm. The paperwork was finalized last week, she adds, her voice sweet with satisfaction. This 15% stake is worth $1.2 million. The room erupts in applause. I watch business associates nodding approvingly, family friends exchanging impressed glances. My smile feels carved onto my face as the room blurs slightly at the edges. $1.2 million. For Luna, my sister who has never worked a day at the family business. Stay calm, Daniel whispers, his lips barely moving. I'm right here. When the applause dies down, I find myself moving forward, my body operating on autopilot. Luna's arms wrap around me, her expensive perfume enveloping me as she hugs me tightly. Can you believe it? She whispers, and I hear genuine excitement in her voice. I never expected anything like this. Congratulations, I hear myself say, the word mechanical but convincing enough. I've had years of practice at sounding sincere while swallowing disappointment. My parents accept praise from their guests, my father's hand clasped firmly on James's shoulder as he welcomes him to the family not just as a son-in-law but as a future business partner. The implications hang in the air, unspoken but unmistakable. A memory surfaces, sharp and sudden. My own wedding 7 years ago, unwrapping the kitchen appliance my parents had given us. You'll need this for work, Mother had said, as if a coffee maker was an appropriate gift for their firstborn daughter who had just married. No business shares, no inheritance discussion. Just practical kitchenware for the daughter they expected to make her own way. Daniel guides me to a quiet corner, concern etched across his face. You okay? He asks, keeping his voice low. I feel my practiced smile crack slightly at the edges. Not here, I whisper back. Not now. The evening progresses with excruciating slowness. James raises his glass in a toast, his voice carrying across the room. To joining such a generous family, he says, eyes bright with genuine gratitude. The guests murmur appreciatively, and I catch fragments of conversations as I move through the crowd. Substantial gift, says someone to my right. Smart business move, adds another. Luna's always been their pride and joy, whispers an older woman to her husband, not realizing I'm within earshot. Across the room, Sarah catches my eye, her worried glance communicating volumes. We've been friends since childhood, and she's witnessed every instance of my parents' favoritism toward Luna. She raises an eyebrow in silent question. Are you all right? I give her a small nod, not trusting myself to do more. Daniel returns to my side with a glass of water, standing close enough that our arms touch. His presence anchors me as I make small talk with family friends who haven't bothered to ask about my recent promotion or the patent application that could transform cybersecurity protocols in banking systems. Something shifts inside me as I watch Luna accept congratulations, as I see my parents bask in the approval of their peers. A lifetime of moments crystallizes into clarity. This won't pass like previous hurts. This is too public, too significant to swallow down and ignore. As the party winds down, my phone lights up with a notification. Luna has posted to her social media. Officially a millionaire. Blessed. family business. Daniel watches my face as I stare at the screen, his eyes steady and understanding. The last guests filter out into the cooling evening air as thunder rumbles in the distance, nature providing the perfect backdrop for my simmering emotions. This ends tonight, I say quietly, and for the first time in years, I mean it. Have you ever witnessed favoritism that took your breath away? Share your experience in the comments. 3 hours later, the emptied ballroom feels cavernous now, littered with the aftermath of celebration. Crystal flutes with lipstick-stained rims sit abandoned on linen-draped tables. Gift wrappings scatter like expensive confetti across the floor. Only our family remains, the 5 of us suspended in the artificial warmth of this rented vineyard paradise. Luna stands by the windows, holding the framed share certificate up to catch the last light of evening. The gold embossing gleams as she traces her name with a manicured fingertip. James hovers nearby, phone in hand, probably calculating what his fiancée's newfound wealth means for their future. I sit unnaturally still on a high-backed chair, spine rigid against the carved wood. Daniel's hand rests on my shoulder, his thumb making small, soothing circles against the silk of my dress. The weight of his touch anchors me to the moment when everything else feels unsteady. Father loosens his tie with a satisfied sigh. "Wonderful evening," he announces to no one in particular. "Couldn't have gone better." The words break something loose inside me. Why don't I get the same? The question emerges with a calmness that surprises me. Mother's champagne glass pauses halfway to her lips. "What?" "The shares. Why doesn't your firstborn daughter receive 15% too?" My voice remains steady, though my pulse hammers in my throat. Mother sets her glass down with deliberate care. "Natalia, don't be ridiculous. You have a successful career. You don't need shares." "The need isn't the point." I fold my hands in my lap to keep them from shaking. The fairness island. Father's face darkens as he steps closer. "The transfer is done. Legal. Finalized." Each word lands like a judge's gavel. "Don't stir up trouble, just be happy for your sister." Luna shifts her weight, eyes darting toward James. He stares at his shoes, clearly wishing himself anywhere but here. The certificate in Luna's hands suddenly seems to weigh her down. "I gave up my college fund so Luna could attend Westridge Academy," I say. The memory rises sharp and clear, 18-year-old me, sitting at the kitchen table while Father explained they couldn't afford both. I moved to the smallest bedroom when Luna wanted a study space for her art. I worked 3 jobs through college while Luna received full financial support. "That was different," Mother interrupts, her voice climbing higher. "Luna needed more help to succeed. You were always so independent, so capable. Being capable shouldn't mean being punished for it." Father's jaw tightens. "We made choices we thought best for both of you. This discussion is inappropriate and ungrateful." "Ungrateful?" The word tastes bitter. For 33 years, I've swallowed every disappointment, accepted every explanation, watched every dollar and opportunity flow toward Luna, while I made my own way. Daniel's hand tightens slightly on my shoulder. "If this is final," he says quietly, "then at least respect Natalia's feelings about it. Acknowledgement costs nothing." Mother's eyes fill with tears right on schedule. "We've always treated you both equally. How can you say otherwise?" "Equally?" I laugh, the sound hollow. "Name one time, Mother. One single instance where Luna didn't receive preference." "This conversation ends now," Father says, voice low with warning. "Drop this or leave." A curious lightness fills me as I stand. After 33 years, I finally see clearly. This wasn't ever going to change. I reach for the silver bracelet on my wrist. Grandmother's passed to me on my 16th birthday before she died. The clasp opens easily under my fingers. For a moment, the weight of it rests in my palm, warm from my skin. I place it gently on the table. I won't be the family afterthought anymore. Daniel rises beside me, his presence solid and unwavering. We move toward the door together. "Natalia, please, you're overreacting." Luna's voice breaks the stunned silence. It's the first thing she's said since my confrontation began. I turn back. My sister's face is flushed, her eyes wide with genuine confusion. She truly doesn't see it. None of them do. Mother presses a hand to her mouth. Father stands frozen, jaw working silently. For the first time in my life, I've rendered him speechless. "Family should lift each other equally," I say, softer now. "When was the last time any of you celebrated my accomplishments?" Did you know I'm up for a patent that could transform cybersecurity protocols? That I was promoted last month? That Daniel and I are considering starting our own company? Their blank expressions answer for them. I thought so. I reach for Daniel's hand. Congratulations on your engagement, Luna. And your inheritance. Outside, the night air wraps around us, cool and clarifying. Thunder rumbles in the distance as we walk to our car, neither of us speaking until we're safely inside. Are you okay? Daniel asks finally, not starting the engine yet. I look back at the golden windows of the vineyard estate, at the shadows of my family still visible inside. A strange mixture of grief and relief washes through me. No, I answer truthfully, but I think someday I will be. The first drops of rain hit the windshield as we drive away, leaving behind 33 years of silence. An hour later, in our apartment, rain drums against our living room windows, nature's percussion accompanying the storm inside me. Daniel moves quietly around our kitchen, the kettle's whistle piercing the silence as he prepares chamomile tea. The warmth of our modest craftsman home usually comforts me, but tonight the contrast between our cozy space and Luna's luxurious lifestyle stings with fresh awareness. Here you go. Daniel places a steaming mug beside me, his fingers brushing mine in silent support. I nod my thanks, unable to form words as I stare at the photo albums spread across our coffee table. The leather-bound volumes chronicle a lifetime of subtle wounds, physical evidence I've never examined collectively until now. My hands tremble slightly as I open the earliest album. You don't have to do this tonight, Daniel says, settling beside me on our well-worn sofa. I do. My voice sounds foreign to my own ears. I need to see it all at once. The first photo shows Christmas morning when I was 8, Luna just 4. My small face beams with forced brightness as I hold up sensible winter clothes while Luna sits surrounded by wrapping paper, clutching an elaborate Victorian dollhouse that must have cost our parents a month's salary. The dollhouse still sits in their attic, preserved like a museum piece. Look at your eyes, Daniel says, tapping the photo. Even then you were putting on a brave face. I turn the page and land on my high school graduation. There I stand in my cap and gown, holding the luggage my parents gave me for college. The next page shows Luna beside the brand new Volkswagen they bought for her graduation 3 years later. They told me the luggage was practical, I explain, the memory sharp despite the years. They said cars were too expensive. Daniel's jaw tightens, yet they found the money for Luna. Duh. My finger traces the edge of another photo Luna on her first day at college, our parents flanking her proudly. The private university education they fully funded, while I worked 3 campus jobs to supplement my loans at State. Jesus, Natalia. Daniel's voice catches as we move through the albums. I knew things were unequal, but seeing it all together like this. The pattern reveals itself with crushing clarity. Luna's dance recitals attended by our entire extended family while my academic competitions had empty seats. My software engineering fellowship barely acknowledged while Luna's brief internship at a fashion magazine warranted a celebration dinner. What about this one? Daniel points to a photo I've never noticed before. A family dinner, where everyone faces Luna, laughing at something she's said. I sit slightly apart, my achievement trophy barely visible on the table beside me. That was the night I won the Young Innovators Award. Dad said we'd celebrate later. My throat tightens. We never did. We never did. The phone rings, startling us both. Sarah's name flashes on my screen, and I hesitate before answering. I've been trying to call you, she says immediately. I've watched this happen for 20 years, Nat. I'm with you on this. Tears blur my vision. Thanks, Sarah. They never deserved you, she continues, her voice firm with loyalty. Remember when your coding project won that national competition senior year, and your parents skipped the ceremony because Luna had a cold? Daniel raises his eyebrows as I nod into the phone, another memory clicking into place. After we hang up, our doorbell chimes unexpectedly. Daniel peers through the peephole and looks back at me with surprise before opening the door to reveal Professor Williams, my undergraduate mentor, standing in the rain with a concerned expression. I heard what happened, he says, removing his dripping raincoat. His silver hair is plastered to his forehead, but his eyes are clear and determined. Your parents never saw your brilliance, Natalia, but everyone else did. The unexpected show of support leaves me momentarily speechless. You drove an hour in this weather? Some things can't wait, He settles into an armchair, declining Daniel's offer of tea. When that family business needed modernization 5 years ago, whose security software did they implement? Yours. Who solved their logistical problems when they expanded? You did. My phone buzzes repeatedly with incoming messages, colleagues expressing outrage at my family's treatment, friends offering support. Daniel collects my phone, scrolling through with widening eyes. You've built more than you realize, he says, showing me the screen filled with notifications. Look at all these people who see your value. For the first time since the party, something eases in my chest. I hadn't realized how much I needed this external validation proof, that I'm not crazy, that the pattern others see matches my experience. Your career speaks for itself, Professor Williams says, leaning forward. Your patent application could revolutionize how banks protect customer data. Meanwhile, he hesitates. Meanwhile, Luna has tried and abandoned 4 careers. I finish for him, all funded by my parents. They gave her fish but taught you to fish, Daniel says quietly, the simple observation striking me with its accuracy. The irony that Luna received business shares despite having no business experience suddenly seems almost comical. I've built my success through work and sacrifice, while Luna has had everything handed to her. My phone rings again, Mother's name appearing on the screen. I send it to voicemail, but seconds later the notification for a new message appears. Want me to listen to it? Daniel offers. I nod, watching his expression change as he holds the phone to his ear. We've always loved you both the same. He mimics my mother's tearful voice after hanging up. That's exactly what someone would say if they didn't. In fact, love you both the same. My laptop chimes with a new email from my father. The subject line reads, Family Matters in all capitals. I open it to find a stern paragraph admonishing me for making private family matters public and insisting we put this nonsense to bed. He still thinks he can control the narrative. I say, showing Daniel the screen. He's been doing it your whole life, Daniel replies, his arm around my shoulders. They all have. A text from Luna arrives next. You're ruining my engagement celebration. How could you be so selfish? The words sting, but less now. The albums spread before me provide concrete evidence of what I've endured, a visual record no one can dismiss as imagination or oversensitivity. Professor Williams rises to leave, patting my shoulder. Remember, Natalia, family is who treats you like family. Your parents may share your DNA, but these people, he gestures to my phone full of supportive messages, to Daniel, these are your real family. After he leaves, headlights sweep across our front windows. Daniel peers out and frowns. Your parents are here, he says, voice hardening. Want me to send them away? I consider for a moment, then nod. I need time. Through the rain-streaked window, I watch Daniel step onto our porch, closing the door behind him. His posture is protective as he speaks to my parents standing in the downpour. Mother tries to move past him toward our door, but he stands firm. Eventually, they retreat to their luxury sedan, defeated expressions visible even through the rain. When Daniel returns, his shirt damp from the confrontation, a new strength flows through me. For the first time, I've maintained a boundary with my family, and the sky hasn't fallen. How do you recognize when family patterns are too deeply ingrained to change? I ask Daniel, closing the photo albums one by one. He considers the question carefully before answering. When showing them the pattern repeatedly makes no difference. When they refuse to see what's right in front of them. I nod, the truth of his words settling into my bones. I think I've been showing them my whole life. Daniel gathers me in his arms as the rain continues its steady rhythm against our windows. The storm outside might continue, but inside, I feel the first tentative rays of clarity breaking through decades of clouds. My office feels like sanctuary 1 month after Luna's engagement party. The gentle hum of computers and fluorescent lights creates a rhythm that drowns out the noise of family drama. I focus on the code before me, lost in the elegant solution to a security protocol issue that stumped our team for weeks. My computer chimes with an incoming email. I glance at it, then do a double take. Congratulations, Natalia White, reads the subject line from our CEO, Senior Director of Cybersecurity Initiative. The promotion I've been working toward for 3 years, the validation hits me in waves, recognition based on merit, not blood relation or favoritism. My phone buzzes with Daniel's name on screen. Did you see the email? He asks, his voice warm with pride. Just now. I reply, my voice steady despite the emotion swelling in my chest. How did you know already? Your boss called me this morning. I've been planning a celebration dinner all day. Don't stay late. I smile, imagining Daniel in our kitchen, sleeves rolled up as he prepares my favorite meal. In our 8 years together, he's never missed an opportunity to celebrate my achievements, even the ones my family overlooked. As if on cue, my phone lights up again. Mother's name appears on the caller ID for the 3rd time this week. I silence it, adding her to the growing list of family members I'm not ready to speak with. The Thompson cousins called yesterday, Daniel says, hearing my sigh. And your Aunt Judith left another voicemail about healing the family rift. Let them call, I reply, surprised by the calm in my voice. I'm focused on what matters now. The peace I've found in this distance feels earned, not empty. For the first time in 33 years, I'm defining myself without the white family shadow hanging over me. When I arrive home, the aroma of rosemary and garlic greets me. Daniel has transformed our dining room with candles and the good china we rarely use. A bottle of champagne chills in an ice bucket. To the newest senior director, Daniel toasts, his eyes reflecting both pride and concern, and to boundaries that should have been set years ago. We clink glasses just as my phone buzzes with a notification. Sarah has forwarded me a social media post from Luna, elaborate floral arrangements for her upcoming wedding, captioned, "When your parents spare no expense for their daughter's special day." Mother has shared professional photos of Luna visiting wedding venues, her caption about carrying on the family business legacy, thinly veiled ammunition in their campaign to pressure me back into compliance. Your father showed up at your office building yesterday, Daniel says carefully, watching my reaction. Security called me. I set down my fork. He what? He couldn't get past the lobby. I've spoken with security at both your office and here at home. They understand the situation. The anger rises hot in my chest, not just at my father's intrusion but at the audacity. Let me guess. He wanted to reason with me about Luna's wedding? Daniel nods. Apparently Aunt Judith is telling everyone you're having some kind of breakdown, that the pressure of your job has made you mentally unstable. I laugh, the sound sharp and unfamiliar to my ears. Of course, because setting boundaries after decades of being treated as an afterthought couldn't possibly be a rational decision. After dinner, I draft an email to the extended family who've been calling and texting. The words flow with surprising clarity. I appreciate your concern for family harmony. However, the pattern of favoritism I've experienced isn't new and isn't trivial. I'm taking space to reassess relationships that have consistently demanded my understanding while offering little in return. I'm well and focused on my career and marriage. Please respect my decision to engage on my terms in my time. Daniel reads it over my shoulder. Perfect, he says. Clear, calm, and absolutely final. The next morning, I have my first session with Dr. Rivera, a family therapist Daniel researched last week. I need to process this properly, I explain, not just react. That's remarkably self-aware, she replies. Many people in your position would simply burn bridges. I've spent my life building things, I tell her. Even if these relationships need complete reconstruction, I want to approach it strategically. That weekend, we hosted a small dinner for true friends, Sarah, my mentor Professor Williams, and colleagues who've become confidants. We laugh, share stories, and create new traditions untainted by old hurts. When my phone rang over and over with Luna's name Tuesday morning next week, I almost ignored it, but as Shabia's persistent, something seemed off. Dad says the business might be in trouble. She blurts before I can speak. Something about cash flow problems and lost contracts. He's looking for investors. The irony isn't lost on me. The same morning I received notification that my patent application has been approved, with a substantial bonus attached. The family business falters. I'm sorry to hear that, I reply carefully. That's it? You're sorry? Luna's voice cracks. Mom and Dad are fighting about my wedding costs, and James is asking questions about joining a family business that might be struggling, and all you can say is you're sorry? I take a deep breath. What exactly are you asking from me, Luna? Her silence speaks volumes. In the background, I hear our mother's voice rising in an argument. I have to go, Luna says finally. James says this is all getting to be too much. The tension, the family drama. After we hang up, I sit in the quiet of my home office, staring at the framed patent certificate Daniel had made for my previous innovation. Below it sits the notification of my newly approved patent and the investment portfolio we've been building. Steady, strategic choices that have positioned us well, regardless of family connections. The realization settles over me like morning light. My independence has become my greatest strength, not just financially but emotionally. While my family's facade begins to crack under pressure, I'm building something sustainable. Daniel finds me smiling as I review investment options for my bonus. Good news? He asks. The best kind, I reply. I'm finally seeing clearly. The cream envelope arrives on a Tuesday 2 weeks later. After a prolonged silence, it slipped between bills and junk mail like an ordinary piece of correspondence. But I know what it is before my fingers trace the gold-embossed edges. Luna's wedding invitation. Daniel watches from the kitchen doorway, dish towel in hand, as I stand motionless by the mail table. You don't have to open it now, he says, his voice gentle. I slide my thumb under the sealed flap. The heavy cardstock feels expensive, substantial. Inside, calligraphy announces Luna and James's wedding date, 6 weeks away at the Fairmont Hotel. A small handwritten note falls onto the table. I need my sister there. Please come. Love, Luna. My throat tightens. Weeks have passed since I walked out of the engagement party. 3 months of rebuilding my sense of self beyond the family narrative. What does it say? Daniel asks, crossing to stand beside me. I hand him the invitation. She wants her punching bag in attendance. The phone rings that evening as we're finishing dinner. Mother's number flashes on the screen. Daniel raises an eyebrow in silent question. I answer on the third ring. Luna is devastated you might not come, Mother says without preamble. This is her special day, Natalia. Hello to you too, Mom. Don't be difficult. This isn't about your issues with us. This is about supporting your sister. I press my fork against the plate, watching the tines bend slightly. My issues? You mean the lifetime of favoritism culminating in $1 million gift? That's business, not family, she says, voice sharp. The wedding is family. After I hang up, Daniel refills my wine glass. You okay? Just peachy, I say, but my hand trembles slightly as I reach for the glass. The following day brings a text from an unknown number. My father's new cell. Lunch tomorrow? Need to clear the air before the wedding. The Capitol Grill at 1. I show Daniel at breakfast. Are you going? He asks, stirring his coffee. I should hear what he has to say. I take a slow breath. But I'm not making promises. The next day, the restaurant buzzes with business lunches when I arrive. Father stands as I approach the table, his face unreadable behind his practiced business smile. You look well, he says, nodding to the chair across from him. Thank you for meeting, he begins after we order. Luna talks about you constantly. She misses her big sister. Does she miss me, or the sister who never complained when she took what was mine? His jaw tightens. That's not fair. Fairness isn't exactly your specialty, Dad. We sit in strained silence until our food arrives. He cuts into his steak with surgical precision. Look, he says finally, whatever grievances you think you have with us, this wedding is important. Luna needs you there. Luna has always gotten what she needs, I reply, voice steady. What about what I need? The calls continue through the week. Aunt Patricia insisting family comes first. Uncle Robert reminiscing about holding baby Luna while I stood by watching. Cousins I haven't spoken to in years suddenly concerned about family unity. Then Luna herself, voice breaking. It won't be the same without you, Nat. I always pictured you standing beside me. I take the questions to my therapist, Dr. Winters, the following Tuesday. What do you truly want? She asks after I recount the barrage of family pressure. I want them to acknowledge what they've done. I say, picking at a loose thread on the couch cushion, not just with the shares, but all of it. And if they can't, or won't? I look up at her. Then I need to decide if I'm strong enough to attend on my terms, or if I need to protect myself by staying away. That night, Daniel and I sit on our back deck, watching stars emerge in the darkening sky. Professor Williams called today, he says, passing me a mug of tea. Asked about you. What did you say? That you're fighting battles most people never have to face. He takes my hand. Professor said to remind you that attendance isn't the same as approval. 3 days later, I draft my letter. Not an emotional plea, but a clear statement of boundaries. I write about specific instances of favoritism throughout our lives. About the college fund diverted to Luna's private school. About the childhood holidays where her gifts towered over mine. I end with my conditions. I will attend Luna's wedding if you can acknowledge these patterns existed. Not to place blame, but to ensure we build something healthier moving forward. Daniel reads it twice before I send it. Are you sure? It's time for honesty, I say, clicking send. The pre-wedding dinner arrives before I receive a direct response. We meet at Riviera, an upscale restaurant where the soft lighting seems designed to mask uncomfortable truths. Luna fidgets with her engagement ring, while James makes stilted conversation about honeymoon plans. Mother sips her wine, perfect posture betraying the tension she carries. Father checks his watch repeatedly. The salmon here is excellent, Luna says, attempting to bridge the silence that stretches between us. I notice my father watching me, something unfamiliar in his expression. Natalia, he says finally, setting down his fork. I received your letter. The table goes quiet. Daniel's hand finds mine beneath the tablecloth. We should have been fair to you. Father continues, the words seeming to cost him physical effort. I won't pretend to understand how it felt, but I recognize that our choices hurt you. Mother stares at her plate. Luna's eyes widen. I take a slow breath, feeling something shift inside me, not forgiveness exactly, but perhaps the first brick in a bridge I never expected to build. Thank you. I say simply. That's a start. On the wedding day, the morning light filters through the bridal suite as I fasten the last pearl button on Luna's wedding gown. My fingers work deliberately, each motion a bridge between the sisters we were and the women we've become. You look beautiful, I say, the words coming easier than I expected. Luna meets my eyes in the mirror, her reflection glowing with more than bridal anticipation. Thank you for being here, Nat. I wasn't sure you would come. The admission hangs between us, honest in a way we rarely managed before. I smooth the satin at her shoulders, remembering the childhood games where she always wore the crown while I played the faithful attendant. I almost didn't, I answer, my voice steady. Mother appears in the doorway, her silhouette hesitant where it once would have been commanding. She watches us silently, her eyes taking in the tableau of her daughters together again. Something in her expression shifts recognition, perhaps, of what she nearly lost permanently. Through the window, I spot Daniel in the garden, deep in conversation with Uncle Robert and Cousin Andrew. He navigates my family with the graceful diplomacy I've always admired, creating space for me where none existed before. Seeing him advocate for me without fanfare makes my chest tighten with gratitude. Father approaches as I step outside for a moment of air. His expensive shoes crunch on the gravel path. You've built a good life, he says, his voice carrying unfamiliar notes of approval. I meet his gaze directly. I have, without any shortcuts. He nods, understanding the boundary in my words. Your mother and I were talking about inviting you to the next board meeting. Your security expertise could benefit the company. I'd consider it, I reply, neither rushing to accept nor dismiss the olive branch. Growth happens in these small moments of recalibration. The ceremony unfolds beneath a canopy of white roses. When Luna and James exchange vows, her voice carries clearly, I promise to create a family based on fairness and love with you. Luna's eyes find mine as she speaks these words. The message couldn't be clearer if she'd addressed it directly to our parents. Daniel's hand finds mine, his thumb tracing reassuring circles against my palm. At the reception, champagne flows and music swells. I'm prepared for the familiar patterns to reassert themselves, but something has shifted in our family's gravitational pull. Luna taps her glass, pulling everyone's attention. James and I have an announcement, she says, her voice steady. Instead of joining White Family Trucking, we're starting our own marketing firm. Murmurs ripple through the guests. Mother's champagne glass freezes halfway to her lips. My sister taught me something valuable, Luna continues, finding me in the crowd. True independence means building your own path. Later, Father finds me alone. 3 simple words fall from his lips. I was wrong. The admission costs him visibly, his proud shoulders slightly bowed. Across the room, Mother approaches with tear-filled eyes. Her apology comes wrapped in decades of explanation, but its core rings true. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Daniel observes as we drive home that night, the stars overhead brilliant against the November sky. 6 months later, Thanksgiving dinner unfolds in our dining room. Luna and James arrive with pictures of their new office space. Mother and father bring modest, thoughtful gifts for everyone. The conversation flows without the undertow of competition that once defined us. In the kitchen, arranging dessert plates, I pause to absorb the gentle hum of voices from the dining room. The journey here wasn't simple or painless, but standing in the warmth of our home, I understand something essential. Family is what we choose to build, not just what we're born into. What does family mean to you? Is it defined by blood, or by how people treat each other? Share your definition of true family below.
The spring sunlight streaming through Le Petit Déjeuner's windows catches Madison's enormous engagement ring, sending prisms dancing across our brunch table. My sister's hand flutters as she describes her dream Napa Valley wedding venue, each movement calculated to showcase the 3-carat diamond. Mother sits beside her, cutting her Belgian waffle into precise squares while maintaining that practiced smile I've known all my life, the one that means she's about to ask for something. Father checks his Rolex again. Third time in 5 minutes. "Let's get down to business," he announces, interrupting Madison's detailed description of wine cave dinner receptions. "We have the preliminary budget prepared." My coffee cup pauses halfway to my lips as Mother slides a thick folder across the white tablecloth. The restaurant's chandeliers cast gentle light on the gold-embossed wedding planner logo. "Go ahead, take a look," Mother urges, her voice honey-sweet. Madison's been working with the most exclusive wedding coordinator in Napa. I set my cup down and opened the folder. Numbers march down the page in neat columns. Venue rental, catering, flowers, band, wedding planner fees. My throat tightens as I reach the bottom line. $240,000? The words scrape past my lips. "A bargain, really," Madison chimes in. "You should see what some of the other venues charge." Father clears his throat, straightening his tie. "Your mother and I will cover half, as parents should. We need you to contribute the other half." The room tilts sideways. "You want me to pay $120,000? You can afford it now." Madison's voice takes on that wheedling tone she perfected in childhood. "You're doing so well at Franklin West Capital." A memory slams into me. Standing in our kitchen 6 years ago, my University of Pittsburgh acceptance letter clutched in trembling hands. Father's voice, cold as January steel. "You're not college material. We won't waste money on something you'll quit." Mother had nodded along, hands clasped at her chest. "Madison has the academic mind, sweetheart. You're more practical." I'd offered to sign a contract, promised to repay every penny with interest. Researched student loans, prepared spreadsheets proving I could manage the debt. Father's response had been final. "We don't lend money. It's a matter of principle." Now I place my coffee cup precisely on its saucer, focusing on the small clink of porcelain meeting porcelain. "Why do you need my money specifically?" "Because you're family." Madison's voice carries a note of impatience, as if I'm being deliberately obtuse. "And honestly, you owe us this. You've barely contributed to any family event since you got that big promotion." Mother's fingers drum against the table. "We've already put down deposits on the venue and several vendors. Non-refundable deposits." The words hit like individual punches. They'd planned this ambush, counted on my money without even asking. Just like they'd planned my future without asking, decided my limitations without evidence. I hear my voice emerge, quiet and steady. 6 years ago, when I begged you to help me go to college, what did you say, Father?" His jaw tightens. Mother's practiced smile slips. "You said you don't lend money, that it was a matter of principle." Each word falls like ice into the sunlit space between us. "You said I wasn't worth the investment." "That was completely different," Mother interjects, flustered. "This is Madison's wedding, your sister's special day. And my education wasn't special?" The calm in my voice surprises even me. "My dreams didn't matter?" "Now see here." Father's face flushes red above his collar. "You've turned out fine without college. Better than fine. So I'd say we were right about that, weren't we? You should be grateful." "I don't lend money." The words taste like victory on my tongue. "It's a matter of principle." Madison's mouth drops open. "You can't be serious." "I am." I stand, smoothing my skirt. "And since you've already put down those non-refundable deposits, I suggest you start looking for alternate funding sources." Renee Miller. Father's voice cracks like a whip. "Sit down, we're not finished here." I pick up my purse, letting the familiar weight center me. "Yes, we are. The bank of Renee is permanently closed to this family, just like the bank of mom and dad was closed to me 6 years ago. I turn and walk away, my heels clicking against the hardwood floor. Behind me, Madison's voice rises in protest. Mother calls my name, and father's chair scrapes back. But I don't stop. Don't turn around. The maitre d' opens the door with a small bow. Spring sunshine wraps around me like a blanket. For the first time in years, the weight of seeking my parents' approval lifts from my shoulders. They made their choice 6 years ago. Today, I made mine. My phone buzzes as I reach my car. A text from Madison. "You're ruining everything. I already told everyone about the wine cave reception." I silence my phone and start the engine. The future stretches before me, bright and clear, and finally, completely my own. Days pass in the office and clients and meetings, but a week later my aunt's call changed everything. Out at my aunt's house, Aunt Carol's hands tremble as she slides the manila folder across her antique coffee table. "I found these when cleaning out Dad's study last week." Her floral perfume, unchanged since my childhood, fills the space between us. "You deserve to know." The folder's edges show wear, yellowed with age. Inside, statements from Cleveland First Bank span years' monthly reports for the Miller Children's Educational Trust. My throat closes. Children's, as in plural? Aunt Carol nods, twisting her wedding band. The sunlight through her living room windows catches the modest diamond so different from Madison's 3-carat showpiece. "Your parents opened it when you were born, equal amounts for both girls." Numbers blur before my eyes. Regular deposits, steady growth, enough for 2 full college educations. Where did it go? The words scrape past my lips. Madison's nil tuition, her apartment in Manhattan, that summer program in Paris. Aunt Carol's voice drops. "They told everyone you chose not to go to college. That you wanted to start working right away." The room spins. Madison knew. All those years of watching me fight for a chance at higher education, she knew about the money that should have been mine. My phone buzzes. Another text from Madison. "You're destroying this family. Mom hasn't stopped crying since brunch." I silence the phone, tucking it away. "Who else knows? Your grandfather figured it out last year. That's why he sold the RV." Aunt Carol pulls out another document, a bank receipt. "He wanted to help you, but your father blocked the transfer. Said it would undermine their parenting decisions." A knock at the front door makes us both jump. Through the window, I spot Grandpa Joe's weathered pickup in the driveway. He enters without waiting for an answer, his presence filling the room like it always has. "Heard about that fancy brunch?" His voice carries the gravel of 50 years of construction work. "Your daddy's always been good at spending other people's money." My laugh comes out hollow. "They won $120,000 for Madison's wedding. After what they pulled with your college fund?" He settles into his favorite armchair, the leather creaking. "That girl needs a reality check, not a wine cave reception." My phone lights up. "Mom this time. We raised you better than this. Your sister deserves her dream wedding." They're spreading their version already. I show them the messages, making me sound ungrateful. Truth's got a way of coming out. Grandpa Joe's eyes, sharp despite his 78 years, fix on mine. "Question is, you ready for the fight?" Before I can answer, my work phone chimes. Janet Parker, my mentor at Franklin West Capital. "Got a minute? Heard through the grapevine about some family drama. Been there, survived that. Let's grab coffee." "Your parents will try to isolate you," Aunt Carol warns. "They're already telling people you've gotten too big for your roots since the promotion." A text from my cousin Bethany pops up. "What's your problem with Madison? She's literally crying about her ruined wedding plans." Let them talk. The words come out stronger than I feel. I'm done playing their game. Grandpa Joe nods, pride flickering across his weathered features. About time somebody stood up to Robert's bullying. Man's been running this family like his own personal bank for too long. My phone keeps lighting up. Church members asking about honoring thy parents. Relatives offering to mediate. Madison's bridesmaids suggesting I'm jealous of her happiness. But something's different now. The weight of seeking their approval has lifted, replaced by a strange lightness. I think of my office overlooking Lake Erie, the promotion I earned through pure merit, the life I've built without their help. You know what the worst part is? I trace the edge of the bank statements. They'll never admit what they did. They'll rewrite history until I'm the villain who ruined Madison's perfect day. Then let them. Aunt Carol's voice carries steel I've never heard before. You've got the truth now, and us. Grandpa Joe pulls out his wallet, extracting a faded photo. Remember this? It's me at 17, clutching my robotics team trophy. Dad had refused to attend the competition, said I was wasting time that could be spent learning practical skills. College material. Grandpa Joe taps the photo. Always were. They just couldn't see past their golden child. My phone buzzes again. Madison. You're too good for this family now, aren't you? Guess all that money went to your head. I think of the college fund that should have been half mine. Of Madison watching me beg for educational scraps while she enjoyed Manhattan views. Of my parents spreading lies about my choices to protect their narrative. The anger rises clean and sharp, burning away the last traces of doubt. I stand, gathering the documents. Thank you, both of you, for telling me the truth. What will you do? Aunt Carol asks. I smooth my skirt, check my reflection in her mirror. The woman looking back isn't the girl who once begged for crumbs of parental approval. I'm going to let them live with their choices. My voice comes out calm, certain, just like they forced me to live with theirs. Grandpa Joe rises, pulling me into a fierce hug that smells of Old Spice and woodshop. Sunday dinners at my house from now on, let them have their wedding planning. My phone lights up one final time. A message from Sarah, my best friend since 3rd grade. They're telling everyone you've changed. Yeah, you have. You got stronger. I walk out into the spring sunshine, the folder of proof tucked safely in my bag. Behind me, the door closes on decades of lies. Ahead, the truth stretches bright and clean, a road all my own. Let them talk. I know who I am now. And I'm done asking permission to exist. At the present, at my office 3 weeks later, the social media notification pops up on my phone screen. Linda Miller shared a post. My thumb hovers over the preview. After 3 weeks of radio silence following the brunch confrontation, Mother has resorted to her favorite weapon, the court of public opinion. When did children stop honoring their parents? So heartbroken to see the values we instilled being thrown away for material gain. The comments roll in beneath her post. Church ladies offering prayer hands emojis. Family friends expressing shock and dismay. Uncle Roger writing a paragraph about ungrateful millennials. I set my phone face down on my desk at Franklin West Capitol, focusing on the steady hum of market data, scrolling across my dual monitors. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't manipulate. Numbers don't post passive-aggressive screeds on Facebook. Renee? Janet Wu, my boss, stands in my office doorway. Got a minute? I follow her into her corner office, where Lake Erie stretches slate gray beneath October clouds. Janet gestures for me to sit, then closes the door. Your Miller Tech analysis was spot on. That acquisition prediction? She pauses, studying my face. But you look like someone just shorted your whole portfolio. The laugh that escapes sounds hollow even to my ears. Family drama, nothing that affects work. Ah, Janet leans back. Would this drama involve a certain wedding that half of Cleveland society is buzzing about? Heat crawls up my neck. Madison's been talking. Your sister called our mutual friend Caroline Bishop. Apparently you're punishing the family by refusing to contribute to her wedding fund. Janet's lips quirk. Caroline mentioned it at tennis last weekend, thinking I should know what a difficult employee I have. My stomach clenches. Janet, Stop. She holds up one manicured hand. You know what I told Caroline? That my own mother refinanced her house 3 times to put my brother through medical school. Meanwhile, I worked as a grocery clerk to put myself through community college. Her dark eyes hold mine. Some families think daughters are investments, others think we're ATMs. The knot in my chest loosens slightly. How did you handle it? I built my own empire. Janet gestures at her office. Success is the best revenge, especially when they come asking for loans. She picks up her coffee mug. Take tomorrow off. You've earned a mental health day. Back at my desk, another notification blinks. A text from Reverend Phillips. Your parents are very concerned. Perhaps we should meet to discuss honoring thy father and mother? I type back. Thank you for your concern. My relationship with my parents is a private matter. The texts and calls keep coming. Madison's bridesmaids expressing their disappointment. Aunts offering to mediate. Cousins suggesting I stop being difficult. But their words hold less power now. My apartment may be small, but the view of Lake Erie makes every mortgage payment worth it. My emergency fund could cover 6 months of expenses. My investment portfolio grows steadily. Every paycheck proves Father wrong about my capabilities. Friday evening, I arrive at my parents' house. Mother's roses line the front walk, perfectly pruned. Father's Lexus gleams in the driveway beside Madison's Range Rover. My sister's face fills Father's iPad screen on the dining room table. She's wearing pearls, her makeup precise, playing the part of the wounded bride. "Sit down, Renee." Father's voice carries that familiar note of command, the one that used to make me shrink into myself. I remain standing. "We've prepared a presentation." Mother clicks through PowerPoint slides listing everything they've done for me. Private high school, dance lessons. My first Kara used Honda while Madison got a new BMW. "You had advantages many children only dream of," Father concludes. "Now it's time to show gratitude." Gratitude. The word tastes bitter. "Let's talk about what you didn't do." I pull out my own tablet, open a spreadsheet. College tuition for Madison at NYU. $160,000. Monthly allowance during college. $2,000. Down payment on her first condo. $50,000. Total investment in Madison's future. Approximately $300,000. Mother's fingers twist in her lap. Father's jaw tightens. Investment in my future. $0. Zero opportunities. Zero belief in my potential. Each word lands like a stone in still water. You never saw me as worth investing in. Now you don't get to demand returns. That's not fair. Madison's voice crackles through the iPad speaker. I needed that support. You're just jealous because I had a plan and you didn't. I had a plan. My voice remains steady. I had a 4.0 GPA. I had scholarship offers. I had early acceptance to University of Pittsburgh's business program. What I didn't have was parents who believed in me. "We made the best decision for you," Mother interjects. "You weren't ready for." "I've already set up college funds for my future children." The words stop them cold. "Because I never want them to feel what I felt, to hear they're not worth investing in, to watch their sibling get everything while they get nothing." Silence fills the room like smoke. "And since we're discussing investments," I meet Father's eyes. "Grandpa Joe named me executor of his estate last month. He said he wants someone who understands the value of education managing his legacy." The color drains from Father's face. Mother's coffee cup rattles against its saucer. "You're bluffing," Madison snaps. "Grandpa would never." "Call him and ask." I gather my things. I have the papers to prove it. Just like I have records of every conversation, every financial decision, every example of favoritism from the past 10 years. My hand rests on the doorknob. So here's my final answer. I don't owe you anything. Not money, not explanations, not even this conversation. I walk out of my childhood home for what might be the last time. The evening air carries the scent of Mother's roses, sweet and cloying. But beneath it, I catch the fresh breeze off Lake Erie. Clean. Free. Mine. My phone buzzes, a text from Sarah. "Still on for Sunday brunch with the chosen family crew?" I smile, typing back. Wouldn't miss it. Sometimes the family you choose matters more than the family you're born into. And sometimes the best revenge isn't confrontation, it's living well, investing in yourself, and proving them wrong with every breath you take. Later that day at home, the keyboard clicks echo through my home office as I type the final sentence of my email to the extended family. My finger hovers over the send button while the rising sun paints Lake Erie in shades of amber. 6 years of silence ends with this message. To my family, you deserve to know the truth about why I won't fund Madison's wedding. The facts flow in clean, measured paragraphs. My University of Pittsburgh acceptance. The robotics team championships Father never attended. The college fund that vanished into Madison's NYU necessities. Each word strikes like a hammer on steel, forging truth from years of carefully crafted lies. A text from Madison lights up my phone. "If you send that email, you'll destroy Mom and Dad's reputation at church." The threat slides off me like water. Let the truth destroy what needs destroying. I press send. Within hours, the family phone tree blazes with responses. Aunt Catherine forwards Dad's rambling defensive email where he claims I chose manual labor over college. Uncle Robert sends screenshots of Mom's Facebook post about ungrateful children who forget their upbringing. Madison's bridesmaids share her tearful Instagram story about sisters who abandoned family in times of need. But they miscalculated. Cousin Jennifer calls first. I found your old robotics competition photos, the ones where you won state finals. Dad said you never had any academic interests. Then Great Aunt Susan. Your mother told me you refused their college money because you wanted to work retail. I had no idea they spent your fund on Madison's apartment. The church gossip mill grinds in unexpected directions. Mrs. Peterson from the prayer chain forwards an email thread where Mom tried rallying support against me. But the responses focus on how a good Christian mother could deny one daughter an education while spoiling another. Madison's wedding vendors start asking uncomfortable questions. The Napa Valley venue requests proof of funds after a credit check. The wedding planner drops subtle hints about scaling back expectations. 3 bridesmaids back out, citing the cost of cross-country flights. My phone buzzes with a number I haven't seen in years. Dr. Williams, my high school physics teacher. I kept your college application essay, she says without preamble. The one about using robotics to teach STEM to underprivileged kids. I'm sending it to your grandfather. He should see what they prevented you from achieving. The local business journal runs a profile on Franklin West Capital's rising stars. My photo appears above a quote about determination and self-made success. Dad's business associates start asking questions about why his daughter needed student loans when he drives a new Mercedes. Grandpa Joe hosts a family reunion. Madison and our parents decline, citing wedding preparations. 30 relatives attend. The photo album comes out, and suddenly everyone notices the pattern. Madison's lavish Sweet 16 while I worked 2 jobs, her new car while I took the bus, her spring break trips while I stayed home. Your father always said you weren't interested in college, Grandma says, steel in her voice. Funny how that story changes when the proof comes out. More cracks appear. Madison's friends whisper about her 5-figure wedding dress while she still has student loan debt. The church finance committee questions Dad's business practices. Mom's prayer group starts meeting without her. My phone chimes again. A text from Madison. The venue canceled. Said something about financial verification failure. This is all your fault. I pour a glass of wine and watch the sunset paint the lake crimson. Let them rage against the truth. I earned my peace one client account at a time, one promotion after another, while they built their life on lies. A certified letter arrives from Dad's lawyer, demanding I cease and desist spreading malicious falsehoods about family matters. I forward it to my own attorney without opening it. The truth stands on its own evidence. Grandpa Joe sends a group text to the extended family. Family reunion photo albums been digitized. Interesting how some memories look different in hindsight. Anyone want copies? 30 relatives respond. Yes. Madison's final text arrives at midnight. Mom and Dad took out loans in our names for the business. I knew but never told you. Please don't look into it. But I already have. The lake mirrors the stars as I forward the evidence to my lawyer. Sometimes the best revenge isn't a counterattack. It's simply bringing darkness into light. Truth by truth. Lie by lie. Until nothing remains but what's real. The morning sunlight floods my corner office at Franklin West Capital, painting golden rectangles across the mahogany desk where I've arranged the documents in precise rows. 6 years of bank statements. Credit reports. Loan applications with forged signatures. Each paper represents another brick in the wall of evidence I've built. My phone vibrates. Sarah's text appears. They just passed security. Heading up. I straighten my charcoal pencil skirt and check my reflection in the window. The woman staring back bears little resemblance to the teenager who once begged for college tuition. Her eyes hold steel now, not tears. The elevator chimes. Through the glass wall, I watch them march down the hallway like an invasion force. Father leads, his Brooks Brothers suit crisp despite the June humidity. Mother follows, clutching her Hermes bag like a shield. Madison trails behind, her Jimmy Choos clicking a staccato rhythm against marble floors. Renee. Father bursts through my office door without knocking. This nonsense ends today. I remain seated, one hand resting on the stack of documents. Please, come in. Mother perches on the edge of a visitor's chair, while Madison hovers near the window. Father remains standing, towering over my desk. We've prepared legal documents. He slaps a thick folder onto my blotter. You'll sign them today. I open the folder, scan the first page. A promissory note for $120,000 plus damages? Plus emotional distress. Madison's voice wavers. Do you know how many people I had to uninvite from the wine cave reception? The deposit alone. You're going to sign. Father jabs his finger at the signature line. You owe us this much for raising you. A knock at my door. Stan Richards enters, his rumpled suit and wire-rimmed glasses making him look more like a professor than Father's attorney friend. Now see here, young lady. Stan adjusts his glasses. Your parents have documented evidence of verbal contracts. Actually, I press the intercom button. Could you join us now? The door opens again. Victoria Chen strides in, her Louboutin and tailored suit radiating corporate law confidence. I'm Victoria Chen, Miss Miller's attorney. I believe you were about to discuss verbal contracts. Father's face flushes. This is a family matter. Then let's discuss family. I open the first folder. Like these credit cards opened in my name while I was in high school. Or these student loans taken out under Madison's social security number without her knowledge. I meet my sister's wide eyes. Though you knew about those later, didn't you, Madison? She sinks into a chair. They said they'd pay them off before. Before what? I spread out more documents. Before the identity theft was discovered? Before the statute of limitations expired? Before I had proof of your complicity? Mother's fingers clutch her purse tighter. We were trying to help. By committing fraud? Victoria's voice cuts like a blade. Identity theft? Wire fraud? Tax evasion? Stan tugs at his collar. Now, these allegations aren't allegations. I push forward a USB drive. They're documented facts, including recorded conversations where you admitted to taking out these loans. Did you know Ohio is a one-party consent state for recordings, Father? The color drains from his face. Here are your options. I fold my hands on the desk. Drop all demands regarding Madison's wedding. Sign these papers acknowledging the fraudulent loans and agreeing to repay them in full. Or, I let the silence stretch. I press charges. You wouldn't dare, Father's voice cracks. Your own parents. The same parents who said I wasn't college material? Who spent my college fund on Madison's NYU shopping sprees? The calm in my voice surprises even me. Try me. Madison burst into tears. I never meant. They said it was temporary. Stan. Father turns to his friend. Tell her she can't. Actually, Stan removes his glasses, polishing them with a handkerchief. Given the evidence Miss Miller has gathered, I strongly advise you to accept her terms. Security is waiting outside. I press the intercom again. They'll escort you to the conference room to sign the papers, or to the lobby, depending on your choice. Mother stands, her perfect makeup cracking along with her composure. How could you do this to your family? I learned from the best. I open another folder. Remember what you told me about college loans, Father? That you don't lend money as a matter of principle? Two security guards appear in the doorway. Father's shoulders slump, authority crumbling like a sandcastle at high tide. The conference room. His voice barely carries. We'll sign. Madison stays. I close the folders. She and I need to discuss her student loan payments. They file out, Mother's sniffles echoing down the hall. Madison remains crumpled in her chair, mascara tracing black rivers down her cheeks. Why? Her whisper carries years of golden child entitlement. Why now? I walk to the window, watching the city stretch toward Lake Erie. Because sometimes the only way to heal a wound is to clean it completely. I turn back to her, even when it hurts. The sun catches my reflection again. This time, I see both versions of myself, the wounded teenager and the woman who finally set her free. Both of us smiling. At the present, the evening sun paints my corner office in amber and gold, a daily reward for surviving another 14-hour day at Franklin West Capital. 6 months after that fateful brunch, my promotion to senior portfolio manager came with a view of Lake Erie that still takes my breath away. I adjust a framed photo on my desk, Grandpa Joe standing proud beside his gleaming RV, the one he secretly sold to help fund my first semester of night classes. The memory of discovering what he'd done still brings tears to my eyes. But tonight, those tears sparkle with victory instead of regret. My phone buzzes. Sarah's message lights up the screen. Final headcount for Thursday's dinner party? Linda from accounting asked if she could bring her famous apple pie. A smile tugs at my lips as I type back. Tell her yes. My chosen family deserves all the pie they want. The quarterly reports spread across my desk can wait. I gather my things, sliding my laptop into its leather case, a gift from my team after I landed the Peterson account. The elevator descends 42 floors, each number bringing me closer to home. My home. The thought still thrills me. The spring evening wraps around me as I walk the 3 blocks to my building. Cleveland's lights flicker to life, stars emerging in the urban twilight. My heels click against the polished marble of my lobby, and Thomas the doorman tips his hat. Evening, Miss Miller. Package came for you. He hands me a thick cream envelope, the return address making my heart skip. University of Pittsburgh Office of Admissions. Inside, I find a letter confirming my appointment to their business school advisory board and an invitation to speak at next month's graduation ceremony. The irony doesn't escape me. My apartment welcomes me with the soft glow of sunset through floor-to-ceiling windows. I kick off my heels, pad across hardwood floors to the kitchen, and pour a glass of Pinot Noir. The silence feels like a warm blanket, no drama. No manipulation, no walking on eggshells. Another text arrives. This time from my cousin Jennifer. Got your RSVP for my wedding. Can't wait to see you and the grandparents there. No pressure, but if you want to catch up before then. I smile, typing back. Lunch next week? My treat. The walls of my home office showcase my journey. Series 7 license, graduate certificates from night school, awards from Franklin West. But the centerpiece is a shadow box containing a rusty robotics competition medal from high school. The one achievement my parents never bothered to attend. My laptop chimes with an incoming email. A young analyst at my firm, her message tentative. Miss Miller, could I get your advice? My parents are pressuring me about my career choices, and I heard you might understand. Setting down my wine glass, I begin typing. Let's meet for coffee tomorrow morning. I know a great little place. The doorbell rings at 7 sharp. Sarah arrives with takeout containers of Thai food, followed by my grandparents bearing a homemade chocolate cake. Linda from accounting appears minutes later, her promised apple pie still warm. The table's set on the balcony, I tell them, leading the way outside. Lake Erie stretches before us, painted in sunset colors. String lights twinkle overhead, my own little piece of stars brought down to earth. Grandma squeezes my hand as we sit. I saw Madison's wedding photos on Facebook. The vineyard looked smaller than planned. I heard they ended up at that local winery instead of Napa, Sarah adds, passing the pad thai. Your mother's bridge club must have been scandalized. I shrug, the movement light and free. Not my circus anymore. We eat and laugh as twilight deepens into night. My grandfather raises his glass in a toast to my brilliant granddaughter who proved them all wrong. Tears prick my eyes, but I lift my glass high. To the man who sold his dream RV because he believed in me. Later, after the dishes are cleared and my chosen family has gone home, I stand at my bedroom window. The city sparkles below, a testament to all the dreams that find their way despite the odds. My reflection in the glass shows both versions of Meth, the uncertain teenager clutching a college rejection letter, and the woman who built her own success story brick by brick. My phone lights up one last time. A text from Madison. I understand now. What they did. What I did. I'm sorry. I let the message sit unanswered, a bridge I'm not ready to cross. Tomorrow I'll review applications for the scholarship fund I created for non-traditional students. Tomorrow I'll mentor another young woman fighting to prove her worth. Tomorrow I'll continue building a life that needs no one's approval but my own. But tonight, I simply stand in my success, letting it fill my lungs like oxygen. The hurt teenager inside me finally exhales, knowing she was always worthy. She just needed someone to believe in her. That someone turned out to be me.